Hey there, investment advisor enthusiasts. Welcome back to the United Atlantic Legal Services YouTube channel. My name is Michael Rasmussen, and today we've got a must-watch video for all you investment advisors out there. We're going to take a deep dive into the requirements of Rule 2064-7, a crucial regulation that every investment advisor needs to be familiar with. So if you're ready to ensure compliance and enhance your advisory services, hit that like button and let's get started. Unpacking Rule 2064-7. All right, let's kick things off by understanding what Rule 2064-7 is all about. This rule is also known as the Compliance Rule and is a part of the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, the act to which all federally registered or SEC registered investment advisors are subject to. Its purpose? To establish a framework for investment advisors to create, implement, and maintain effective compliance programs. There are 3 requirements to this rule. Let's dive into each one. Let's start with the written policies and procedures. The first requirement mandates that investment advisors must establish written policies and procedures reasonably designed to prevent violations of federal securities laws. This includes a wide range of operational aspects such as portfolio management, trading practices, disclosure, and much more. I will highlight the language that says reasonably designed to prevent violations. Reasonably designed is language that us lawyers like to say is open to interpretation, and in the investment advisor space, reasonably designed has been kicked back and forth between investment advisors and the regulators for a very long time. We have oftentimes very conflicting understandings of what reasonably designed means. So there's a lot of good guidance out there from the SEC and other regulators as to what reasonably designed looks like. Make sure when you're going through each section of your written policies and procedures that you check to see if there's any SEC action out there or other regulatory action related to that section in the manual to get a better understanding of exactly what the regulators think reasonably designed means. Second requirement, annual review. Moving on to requirement number 2, the annual review. Investment advisors are required to review their policies and procedures at least once a year. This review helps to ensure that the compliance program remains effective and relevant in the ever-evolving financial landscape. So, as part of this testing, you'll most likely want to do what's called a risk assessment, where you go through that compliance manual, identify the areas of risk to your firm. Most firms, for example, would consider cybersecurity to be an area of risk to their firm, and therefore they should have reasonably designed procedures to protect against those types of risks. During that annual review process, you're going to be testing those procedures. Make sure they exist to start with, and then make sure that they are, again, reasonably designed to prevent those violations that we're trying to stop. Requirement number 3, designate a chief compliance officer. Thirdly, investment advisors are required to designate a chief compliance officer responsible for overseeing the firm's compliance program. The CCO plays a pivotal role in implementing and enforcing the program's policies and procedures. In a later video, we'll talk about what's called the ADV disclosure brochure. In that document, you have to identify your firm's chief compliance officer. So when the SEC or other regulator comes knocking, they will want to talk to that individual, and that individual better be ready to talk to them. Additionally, the language of the rule actually requires the firm to designate that person. Best practices indicate that that means that the board of directors or the executive management team of the firm collectively pass some sort of resolution identifying the person that they want as chief compliance officer, and should identify the reasons why that person is qualified to act in that role for that firm. So those are your 3 requirements. Again, you have to have written policies and procedures reasonably designed to prevent violations of federal securities laws. You have to conduct an annual review of those policies and procedures, and you have to designate a chief compliance officer. What are some of the benefits? If you're a compliance officer or a chief compliance officer and you're trying to sell the written policies and procedures that you put together for your firm to other departments, what are some of the ideas that you should start with? So why should the investment advisors take these requirements seriously? Well, apart from staying on the right side of the law, there are several other benefits to ensuring compliance with Rule 2064-7. First one we'll start with is client trust. A robust compliance program fosters trust among clients, showing them that their best interests are top priority. It is very difficult for investment advisor firms, especially small ones, to explain away regulatory action when regulators find deficiencies and make that public knowledge. Risk mitigation. By identifying and addressing potential violations, investment advisors can minimize risks and potential legal consequences. There are a lot of risks facing every investment advisor firm out there, and failure to comply with rules and regulations is one of those risks, of course, and then that can have reputational risk. It can cause financial harm to the firm, and so on and so on. So having a understanding of Rule 2064-7 and the requirements is a great first step to mitigating those types of risks. Operational efficiency. A well-structured compliance program streamlines operations and enhances the overall efficiency of the advisory firm. This really, to me, makes the process of going through the 2064-7 review and creating those policies really forces a firm to think about what their procedures are and put those procedures into writing, and that helps to identify gaps, but it also creates that kind of operational efficiency by testing those operational and compliance procedures. Let's talk about some tips for effective compliance. Before we wrap things up, here we go. Let's talk about tailored approach. Customize your compliance program to your firm's size, complexity, and business model. One size does not fit all. I've worked as the Chief Compliance Officer and General Counsel for firms of wide-ranging sizes, wide-ranging business models, and those firms have very different looking compliance programs, which is appropriate because they have very different risk profiles. So again, those written policies and procedures should be tailored to the risks of the particular investment advisor firm. Regular training. Keeping your team well informed through ongoing training sessions to ensure everyone is up to date with compliance policies is absolutely critical. The only kind of key point I would like to highlight here is that individualized departmental training is usually what has the most impact. Every year you should do a firm-wide training for the entire firm, but sitting down with the specific departments and going through those sections of the compliance manual that touch on what they do is absolutely essential. And you'll get a lot of great feedback typically from those types of narrow focus discussions. Stay current. Stay informed about regulatory changes and industry best practices to adapt your compliance program accordingly. There's not a single week that goes by that I don't go look at the SEC's website and see what the proposed rules are coming out, what the final rules that just got adopted, if there has been any regulatory enforcement action that's been made public. Staying on top of those things makes you think about how the SEC might be looking at your firm because you have examples of how they looked at other firms. All right. There you have it, folks, a comprehensive breakdown of the requirements of Rule 2064-7 for investment advisors. Remember, maintaining a robust compliance program isn't just about ticking boxes. It's about building a foundation of trust, minimizing risks, and thriving in the financial advisory landscape. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Again, my name is Michael Rasmussen. I am the founder of United Atlantic Legal Services, a boutique law firm focused exclusively on investment advisors. So if you're looking to register an investment advisor firm, or if you need support during an acquisition, please do let us know. You can visit our website at www.unitedatlanticls.com. Until next time, stay compliant and stay informed.